The news, they were saying that there was a tornado spotted and that we need to take shelter now.
That area was the first place hit, and it destroyed every house.
When the storm started, we saw the water coming up through the doors. If it would have come up anymore, we'd have drowned.
I was just thought to myself that this is it. I'm not going to make it.
The climate is changing. We're seeing more disasters more frequently with less time to recover in between, impacting more and more people with more and more needs. And many of the people who we see disproportionately impacted are people who are vulnerable, people who are living in poverty, people who have access and functional needs. One of the things that we understand now as we begin to adapt our mission is that disaster has a universal language. It's called suffering. And one of the things that we do in the Red Cross, we're there to pull you back from that edge. That's what we're there to do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Heroes in the Heartland. I'm Cerise Cole with WOWT. As we just saw in that video, disasters are happening more often and causing more destruction than ever before. When disasters happen, volunteers in Red Cross vests respond to provide hope and healing to those devastated communities. During our program today, we'll recognize some amazing acts of heroism while also raising money for the Red Cross to ensure that those volunteers can continue to answer the call when help is needed. This is the 23rd year that the Red Cross has honored local citizens with the Heroes in the Heartland event. This is a wonderful celebration as we honor ordinary people from our own community who have done extraordinary things. Heroes in the Heartland is made possible thanks to several companies and individuals who generously support the Red Cross and its mission. Today's sponsors are listed right there on your screen. Some of these are longtime loyal supporters, while others are new sponsors. And we are so grateful for your support of this event and for all that you do to advance the Red Cross mission. As part of this year's program, we are marking the 5th anniversary of the floods of 2019. Now, when flooding affected much of Nebraska and southwest Iowa in the spring of 2019, we saw the American Red Cross respond immediately to provide care and comfort to those in need. In addition to providing shelter, food, and other services, the Red Cross distributed more than $1 million in direct financial assistance to families impacted by the floods. Major disasters are increasing in size and frequency. The Red Cross needs your support to ensure it can continue to be there when disasters strike. The money raised today will go towards the Red Cross disaster response efforts. As we go through our program today, you have the opportunity to donate. On the left of your screen, you'll see options for making a donation. You can make your gift while watching today's program. If you are watching us on a mobile device, you'll need to exit full screen, then scroll down to make a donation. You can also text NE Heroes, that's one word, to 76278. I hope you will consider making a donation today. Well, it is now time to start recognizing this year's Heroes in the Heartland. Each of the individuals we are honoring today, while they may not be comfortable being called one, fits the description of a hero. Our first honoree is a story that underscores the importance of donating blood, one of the 5 lines of service of the American Red Cross. Before we meet our first honoree, we have a special message from one of our sponsors.
I am Jennifer Keats, an assistant story leader here at HILH Omaha, and one of our culture points that we believe very strongly here is giving back to our community. Which is why we enjoy working with the American Red Cross. It's a great organization that impacts so many people on a local level and a national level as well. In any different capacity that we do work with them, whether it's an event or the blood donations, our associates get very excited, morale at an all-time high, especially when they get to see where their donation goes, and they can see that impact is made on a bigger scale. which is very cool for them to see, and then that gets them more involved. So it's a huge thank you to the American Red Cross, and which is why I enjoy working with them as much as we do.
Susan was a very quiet person, very private. She loved music. That was a connection Susan and I had. She was just sweet, caring, loving, really cared about people, always trying to help someone else.
Growing up, as I got older, I could start to sense things that something was wrong with Susan. It was suspected that she had developed some liver disease, and it was a really long road.
The last time I spoke to Susan was Father's Day, 2013. That's the last conversation we had was Father's Day, and then she kind of was comatose, and she passed away a week later. She died on June 23rd, 2013. I miss our daily talks. We were very, very close, and we would talk daily. I miss her voice. I miss our conversations. That's what I miss the most.
You know, when Susan passed, as expected as it was still extremely difficult to process all of the emotions. At the end of the day, I believe that she was in a better place, and she did suffer for a long time, and she didn't get to accomplish all of the things she wanted to do because of this illness. So there was that sense of relief that she was no longer in pain.
She received a lot of blood transfusions. After she passed away, we tried to think of a way to honor her memory, and it just seemed logical to organize a blood drive. This past Saturday, we had our 9th annual blood drive, and we obtained 63 units.
We think that this is a great way not only to give back, but continue her legacy and to teach those that didn't get to know Susan a little bit about who she was. I have 2 children that never got to meet her, so we use that as a time to talk about Aunt Susan and what she liked and the type of person she was.
But we hear a lot of good stories. We every year we have first-time donors, and some of these first-time donors that were first-time donors 8-9 years ago, they're still coming back, and they tell me that they donate regularly now. So again, that's because of Susan. That's Susan's legacy.
Thank you to the family of Susan Query Brown for sharing Susan's story and for all the family is doing to promote the importance of blood donation. There are opportunities every day for you to donate blood. Just visit redcrossblood.org to find a blood drive near you. Now I would like to welcome in Jill Orton. Jill is a Nebraska native who has nearly 30 years of service with the Red Cross. She has served as the executive director for the Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Southwest Iowa chapter since 2014 and is the CEO for the Nebraska and Iowa region of the Red Cross. Jill, good afternoon.
Thank you, Cerise. We are excited to have you as our MC, and I want to thank WOWT for serving as the media sponsor again this year. We are honored to have many elected officials and distinguished guests joining us today. We don't take for granted the support you provide. You are greatly appreciated. I want to take a moment to thank our volunteers and staff. 90% of our services are carried out by trained volunteers. Our dedicated workforce is the driving force of our organization. From volunteers who respond to disasters, to volunteers working in VA hospitals, to those supporting blood drives. We are so appreciative of the time and talent that you give to the American Red Cross. Our volunteers and staff provide care and comfort to families who are going through challenging times. We reflect on the spring 2019 floods, and I remember how volunteers answered the call to be there for our community. The response to the flooding was long and challenging, yet our volunteers never wavered. Often what families need most following a disaster is someone who can give them hope that things will get better. Our volunteers and staff do that, and they do it well. We also have a very engaged board of directors. Thank you to the passionate board members who play a vital role in ensuring we remain a thriving organization. I also want to thank those who make financial contributions to ensure that we can address the needs of our community. We are thankful for the generosity we continue to see. Thanks to all of you for joining us on this special occasion. I always look forward to sharing these wonderful stories and recognizing extraordinary people from our community. Finally, I want to thank two people who played a large role in ensuring today's event is a great success. Todd and Amy Foji are serving as our honorary chairs for the 2024 Heroes in the Heartland. They are longtime loyal supporters of the Red Cross. Earlier, I had the opportunity to visit with Todd and Amy about their commitment to the Red Cross and the Heroes in the Heartland. We are thrilled today to have with us our 2024 Heroes in the Heartland honorary chairs, Todd and Amy Foji. Todd is the CEO of Great Plains Communications, and Todd and Amy have been longtime supporters of the American Red Cross. So thank you both for being here today.
Happy to be here.
So you've been Omaha residents and supporters and committed to our community for well over 30 years. What inspires that commitment?
Well, for me and myself, I think Todd and I both grew up in communities that were small towns, and in a community that size, you help your neighbors and you're doing things when people are in crisis. And I think when we moved to Omaha, it was quite easy. The American Red Cross fits that bill, and their culture of helping others in crisis just felt very natural to us.
Well, you speak of crisis, and 5 years ago, and it's amazing to think it's been 5 years ago, we had the floods of 2019. What are your reflections on that?
Well, in our case, we had several employees in our company affected by the floods and communities that we serve with telecommunication services. So we experienced it firsthand, including, I believe, 2 employees who lost homes as a result. And so it was, a very personal experience for people in our company. And we certainly had a lot of our employees jump in and volunteer, but from a company standpoint as well, we, tried to help out our coworkers, but then of course their neighbors and those communities need support. So we saw a great deal of impact, and it impacted, our ability to even provide service in some areas. So it was all hands on deck. Doing our part, but also seeing the impact of the Red Cross, serving those people that were impacted at the time. But it was a substantial event, no question about it. And it's nice to remind us of that, because when you think back, it's easy to forget about some of these things that happen and people that jump in and do good things to help. So thanks for reminding us.
Oh, it was such an impact on our communities. It's neighbors helping neighbors. And the two of you have been generous supporters of the American Red Cross for a long time. And I'm very grateful for that. What prompted that?
Well, I got involved at a young age teaching life-saving and swimming lessons as a high school and college kid. And so that was my first introduction to the Red Cross. Our kids went through, I think, some babysitting classes and a few of those things. We have, Amy being one of them, 2 nurses and 3 doctors in our family. So they see the life-saving impact on the blood side. of Red Cross services. And my father, who was a high school science teacher, has given, I think, over 55 or 60 gallons of blood in his lifetime. He's 85 now, and very proudly talks about, you know, how long it's been since he missed an opportunity to donate. So we've just had a lot of those different influences, you know, in our life, and saw the benefits of the work that, you know, the many volunteers and staff at the Red Cross do, and it's something we chose to be a part of in a small way.
Well, you make a difference in the lives of others. This is life-saving work. We're honoring some amazing, inspirational heroes. What type of messages would you like to share with them?
Well, for me, I feel like all these individuals that are being honored are individuals that are putting others' needs before themselves. If it's that individual that have been trained, and I know preparedness is a big thing about the Red Cross, from CPR, so you get our life-saving people that step in at a moment's notice to help others in need, to the people that give their blood, and I know as a nurse how impactful that is. And maybe you don't know it in the minute that you're giving the blood, but you know it when you're in the community and you're the person needing the blood. So that's, for me, very incredible for what they do. And lastly, I just feel as if the individuals that volunteer from near and far and take their talents and giving of themselves and being there for someone in such incredible moments where they are feeling at a loss. If it's a natural disaster or whatever, Red Cross is always there. And I just commend those people that are volunteering.
I would add that, and for the many years that, you know, when we used to have this event in person, and now we have it virtually, but when I attended, I always found the heroes to be reluctant heroes, that they don't think of themselves as heroes. And that in itself is pretty impactful, that you just see kind of the inherent good in people, and you know, consistent with what Amy said, their willingness to kind of do the right thing at the right time and whatever it takes to help others. I think that's pretty special.
I do as well. So I just want to thank both of you from the bottom of my heart. You're making a difference in a very impactful way. So thank you for being our honorary chairs for the Heroes in the Heartland event.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, and thanks to everyone who helped organize and support this event as well.
Jill, thank you to you, Todd, and Amy. Now it's time to meet our second hero, which is a true life-saving story.
So I manage Threads, Footloose and Fancy downtown in Lincoln. I've been here 8 years. We sell like clothing and footwear, Birkenstocks. We met probably 6-ish years ago. He came in to buy a bunch of new shorts, and that's the first time that I took note of oh, this guy kind of shops here a lot. He was just always really personable, could carry on a conversation, really happy-go-lucky seeming, I guess. He always has a good attitude, which is nice.
Yeah, so we've been together now almost 6 years. So it was a Tuesday like today. It was our day off. I was actually out on a bike ride. I met some friends, and I just gotten home from that. She had been home. Got home, she was on the couch, just fine. She said, "Oh, I don't feel very good."
My left arm had a weird ache. And you Google that and it says heart attack. And I'm like, well, that's not what it is. The pain is kind of getting worse. And it's just like a feeling I've never experienced. It kind of felt like you had a blood pressure cuff on, like that tightening feeling.
So we went back to the couch and I was holding her and put my head on her chest and was listening to her heartbeat, just again trying to kind of calm her down. Like it's fine, it's probably nothing. And that's when her heart stopped. I was like, this is not good. Grabbed her phone, called 911. The 911 operator, she answered and basically gave me the instructions of, hey, you need to start CPR. I gave CPR until first responder showed up. I think it was about 6 minutes or so was how long the call was. I think they had to shock her twice while we were still at the house to get her heart going. Yeah, it was a lot.
I don't really remember anything until I woke up in the ICU. Jake was there, my mom was there, like really my whole family was there, but kind of those were the two that were like right next to me. The doctor came in to my room and he's like, well, you've had obviously like a cardiac event, and he's like, he saved your life, and kind of points to Jake.
I'd been a lifeguard, when I was a teenager, and had a couple other jobs, over 10 years ago that I had training, but I at least knew enough to know, and obviously I wouldn't have been able to probably do it without the operator talking me through it and helping me.
It's called SCAD, spontaneous coronary artery dissection. That's what caused it. It's a fluke thing. They say they see it more often in people in their 30s, especially women. The doctors are like, it seems like it was a fluke thing. We're not really worried about it happening again.
It's odd because, everyone's like, wow, you're a hero, or I would have never been able to do that. Well, I wouldn't have been able, I don't know how I would have answered that question before this. Yeah, it just was a very intense moment, and you just do what you think you have to do.
He's just a great human, and so I feel like, yes, in this way, he is a hero, but at the same time, he does so much for me and my family just on a day-to-day basis that I'm like, you're definitely our hero long before this happened.
Wow, what a great story, and a reminder that knowing a skill such as CPR can be life-saving. As you know, the Red Cross offers CPR courses and other courses that teach life-saving skills. Visit redcross.org today to register for a class. We have 2 more hero stories to share with you, but first, I want to take a moment to discuss opportunities for you to support the Red Cross. Whether it's responding to a home fire or natural disaster, providing blood to hospitals, or supporting our military members and veterans, the Red Cross continues to do an incredible job of improving the quality of life in our community. At times, the work of the Red Cross may be taken for granted. However, if the Red Cross is unable to perform its work, we as a community would certainly feel the pain and the burden of its absence. It is critical that the American Red Cross remains vibrant and active in our community. The Red Cross exists through the generosity of donors. The financial support of some large contributors is very much appreciated, but you'll be interested to know that a high percentage of the annual budget of the Red Cross is funded by relatively small contributions from thousands of people who recognize the broad scope of services provided by the Red Cross and its volunteers. All donations make a difference. The money raised today will support the Red Cross disaster response efforts. And as we have mentioned, it was 5 years ago this spring when flooding impacted our area. For weeks and months after the flooding started, the Red Cross was there, providing critical support to individuals and families affected. In response to the flooding, the Red Cross provided more than 6,000 overnight shelter stays in 30 different shelters. More than 65,000 meals were served, and over 75,000 snacks were distributed. Red Cross volunteers provided more than 33,000 emergency relief supplies to nearly 8,000 households. Additionally, numerous health and mental health services were provided. And thanks to the generosity of donors, the Red Cross was able to distribute a total of more than $1 million to affected households right here in our community. Money raised today will help the Red Cross prepare for the next disaster. Large disasters such as hurricanes, wildfires, and flooding are happening more frequently and with more intensity. Please consider making a gift to ensure the Red Cross can provide vital services to residents impacted by disasters. A reminder that on the left side of your screen, you will see options for making a donation, and you are able to make your gift while viewing today's program. If you are watching on a mobile device, you'll need to exit full screen, then scroll down to make a donation. You can also text NE Heroes, that's one word, to 76278. Your gift will make a difference. Let's check in on the donations that are coming in. A big thank you right now to Union Pacific, Shields, Great Plains Communication, and Stores Foundation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our next story introduces us to an organization that's making a difference in the community. Before we see this story, let's hear from another one of our sponsors.
Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Stark, Vice President of Public Affairs at Union Pacific Railroad. Union Pacific is a proud supporter of the Red Cross, aligning with the organization's mission to provide vital services to our communities. From small house fires to multi-state disasters, the American Red Cross goes wherever it's needed, including over 7,000 communities where Union Pacific operates and our employees and their families live and work. Just as the safety of our employees and community members is paramount to how we operate, Union Pacific is committed to helping communities, residents, and emergency responders prevent, prepare, and respond to incidents and emergencies should one occur. This is why our partnership with the Red Cross is so important. I hope you will join me in supporting the Red Cross today and into the future. All of our communities thrive when we work together.
It's a really magical place. I've never experienced nothing like it. The minute I walked in that building, you know you are somewhere special.
So the mission is providing food, healthcare, and a way forward to people severely affected by poverty in the Omaha area.
Well, we're right in the middle of a food desert. We're in one of the poorest zip codes in the country. So we have a pantry that gives out in between 12 and 15,000 pounds of food a day.
In 2022, we served 3.2 million pounds of food. Last year, we did about close to 4 million pounds of food.
We help about 1,100 families a week. It's real intense, it's real hands-on.
Dignity for all is respect for anyone who comes through our doors. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter your station in life. It's when you come into our doors, we're going to help serve you. And there are different entry points, whether it be the entry point of healthcare or laundry or our food distribution. We're going to serve you no matter what. We're going to help you get to the next place in life that you want to be. So it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what your religion is. We're going to help and serve you.
We're open to everybody, so you'll get all walks of life coming through there. When you come in there, whether you're a city official or a homeless person, you're going to get treated exactly the same. So it's a really special place.
Heart's a place of healing. And again, I can't really put my finger on what it is, but when you're there, whatever it is that you're going through, it helps you to heal. It helps you to belong. Helps you to be part of something that's bigger than yourself.
I'm very proud to be a part of this thing, and I don't know what to call it, but I know it's special, and I know I am blessed to be a part of it. So knowing that, it makes me go that much harder. It makes me, make those extra phone calls or take those phone calls late at night to help.
A hero is someone who's vulnerable, who may be trying to figure it out, but you have this superpower that you're trying to learn how to wield. And as you're wielding that superpower, like most of our staff, right? I see our staff as heroes. It's a tough place to be sometimes. And so I see our staff as the heroes in the community that wield the power necessary for our community members, for our volunteers, for the community, for Omaha. Our staff are heroes to me.
It is wonderful to hear about the important work that Heart Ministry is doing in our community. And don't forget to keep those donations coming in. Every dollar raised today will go to support the Red Cross. We know first responders are heroes. Our final hero story tells of a heroic rescue by the Omaha Fire Department.
So my father is retired Omaha Fire Assistant Chief. So growing up, was something I always saw, and it looked exciting, looked fun, looked rewarding to be able to help people.
It's an honorable position. It's something different every day. You get anywhere from car accidents to medical calls to fires. So it's an exciting job, and you never know what you're going to get.
So I was the acting battalion chief downtown. When the call came in, there was a lot of just, what are we walking into? What are we going to?
We got reports that there was 2 guys in the sewer. I think they were a contractor to clean out the sewer, the drainage system of Omaha, and they weren't expecting influx of rain, which caused the drainage system to be overloaded with water. They had gotten one person out, and then there was one person unaccounted for.
I just kind of started implementing those rules that I know and the procedures that we follow. Had guys start popping manholes and looking down to see if we could get eyes on the victim. In your mind of, we didn't get to this person as fast as we could or do what we could have done. And then you start to think about the family, how it impacts them. And then you start thinking about how would this impact your family? And it's what a lot of us got into this job to do, was to be there for somebody in that time of need. But you obviously are hoping for the save and not the recovery.
We teamed up with Omaha Public Works employees, and we were able to follow that map down where he possibly might have been washed up to.
We were told over the radio that somebody from an apartment building, I believe, was calling dispatch and saying, hey, I can see a person who looks trapped. I believe there was a weir wall in the sewer system around 7th and Jones, where we had sent crews to look, where it basically, the water level rises, but then the wall kind of blocks it, and you can climb over this wall, and then if there's not so much rainwater or sewer water, you can walk. He had apparently found this area and walked or got out of the water and was visible from above through a grate that was sealed.
He was in a rail yard, so we had to cut a fence to the rail yard, hop over some trains to get to him, and then there was a metal grate that was in between him and us. We had Truck 1 cut the grates along with Rescue 33. We cut the grates, and we were able to extricate him from that situation. You could tell he was drained. He's lucky to be alive. But physically, as far as emergent, surprisingly, he was in good shape. So,
with Kurt and I's time on the job at this point in our careers, you've been kind of trained to expect the unexpected, and nothing really kind of shocks you. Except for something extreme. You underestimate the power of nature. We do the same thing with trench rescues. We have, people don't think dirt and sand is very heavy, but when it collapses on you or moves in a very fast way, it's very powerful. I was told he traveled a mile, I believe. It was close to something like that. It was like just over, I think it was like over 6,000 feet, so just over a little more than a mile. I can't imagine what that was like. I am doing a job that if I wasn't here today, the guy in my seat would have done the same thing. It's the class and the character of people we hire here at Omaha, and as firefighters, it's what we're supposed to do. It's what we're here to do. And to be fair on this incident, the real hero is the individual himself. His persistence and tenacity to stay alive and fight off whatever extreme conditions he was going through, he's the hero on this one.
When the outcome isn't successful, it's a heavy burden on every firefighter, and they each handle it differently. So for this to be a successful outcome, it's a big relief for everyone that's on scene. And I think everybody was overjoyed when they heard that he was alive and able to be found.
What an amazing rescue. Thank you so much to the Omaha Fire Department and all first responders for what you do each and every day. The hero stories we have heard today remind us that our community is full of caring people doing extraordinary things. A big thank you to all of our honorees today for what you have done to positively impact the lives of others. Well, now I'd like to bring in the chairs of the Board of Directors for the Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Southwest Iowa chapter of the American Red Cross, Amy Olson, and the chair of the American Red Cross of Southeast Nebraska chapter, Carly Sindelar.
Thank you, Cerise. I want to start by thanking all of you for joining us today. We're thrilled to have you with us. I also want to thank those of you who have made or will be making donations. Your support is vital to keep our mission thriving.
Amy and I are proud to serve with invested and collaborative boards of directors. We're able to fulfill the Red Cross mission throughout the area due to the engagement of these individuals. You can see our board members listed on the screen. These individuals are actively involved in the mission of Red Cross. Thank you for your dedication and willingness to serve.
We want to echo Jill's comments earlier about the outstanding work of the Red Cross volunteers and staff. The Red Cross responded to more than 400 disasters, most of which were home fires last year throughout Nebraska and Southwest Iowa. More than 53,000 units of blood were collected and more than 25,000 people were trained in valuable life-saving skills such as first aid and CPR. Also, more than 1,000 military members, veterans, and their families received support from the Red Cross. This work would not happen if not for the dedicated volunteers and generous donors. If you aren't already, I encourage you to consider becoming a Red Cross volunteer, blood donor, or financial supporter. Please consider this opportunity to make a difference. It's such a wonderful way to serve our community.
We want to thank the team at Reimagined Experience for producing this virtual event today and making it a wonderful success. We also want to thank Nate Gassaway of Gosman Visual Marketing for creating the Heroes videos we saw today. To our sponsors and donors, as always, thank you. The Red Cross makes a difference in our community because of the wonderful support you provide. A heartfelt thank you once again to Todd and Amy Foji for serving as our event honorary chairs. Finally, we want to add our congratulations to all the heroes we recognize today. These stories are exceptional. It's an honor to be part of today's program. Thank you all for joining us.
Well, we want to thank you, Carly and Amy, for all that you do. We appreciate all your work. Thank you. Thank you. Well, if you have a donation you want to make but haven't done so, just check the left side of the screen for an opportunity to give. And a reminder that if you are on a mobile device, you will need to exit full screen, then scroll down to make a donation. If you're watching a recording of this event and want to donate, the text to give option is the best way to do that. Text the word NE Heroes to 76278. It has been a pleasure to be here with you. This has been a wonderful event. Thank you so much for joining the 23rd Annual Heroes in the Heartland. Have a great afternoon, everybody.